as well as some of those big names out there, a marquee matchup out there in Major League Baseball as well with the Dodgers and the Braves. I know right now Milwaukee is kind of the team to beat and the team to catch in the National League. Jensen, somebody is not going to get a first-round bye. I wonder how maybe this series might have a long way to determine who could be 2 and who could be on the outs at 3.
Well, first and foremost, Tyler Glasnow back off the injured list here for the Dodgers, getting back into this rotation. It does feel very eerily similar to what we saw towards the end of last year, where the Dodgers got all their reinforcements in the rotation healthy, a little bit of a month and change to onboard and get lengthened out and be ready to go for the postseason. But you're right. As it stands, if we look at where the National League is overall, it is still Milwaukee clinging to a game lead over the Dodgers for that number 1 overall seed. The Braves now begin play tonight head-to-head against the Dodgers. They are 4 back in the loss column. So that will be one that you look at, not only from where they can make up some ground initially, but Dave, we say this all the time. When you look at the season series tiebreaker, so important for these head-to-heads. Right now, the Braves lead this season series 2-1. So a series win here ends up being so critical in potentially getting that tiebreaker if indeed it comes down for that 2 seed or heck, even a 1 seed. For what it's worth, they are tied. Atlanta has split the season series with Milwaukee. So again, we'll get down to those tiebreaker scenarios if they come into play, but this will be one to watch as far as getting our eyes back on Tyler Glasnow for the first time in quite some time. Bryce Elder has been one of the better starters overall for the Atlanta Braves this year. If you look at his recent outings, that's been a guy that when you look at the offense has been really coming to play for him outside of his second a couple of starts ago against your New York Mets, where he gave up 7 runs on 10 hits in 5 innings. He has allowed 1 earned run for 4 of those 5 starts. So throw the 7 out. I know we can't, but just humor me for a moment. Outside of that start against the Mets, he has been literally unhittable and unable to be scored upon. So 4 of those 5 starts, exactly 1 earned run allowed. Gonna have a dandy tonight at Truist Park in a potential postseason matchup preview.
Pirates and Padres, important win yesterday for Pittsburgh just to kind of keep their head above water. If they're really still in this wild card race, they're going to have to really catch fire. And you would think Paul Skeens would have to revert back to being the Paul Skeens we all remember from the last couple of years. But he has been struggling here. What do you make of him today? And again, this game is in San Diego. And again, you get that plus money on Paul Skeens. Normally it's something you want to jump on, but I wonder if there's buyer beware with this version of Paul Skeens.
This is more an underplay, and it's a big one for me. 2.5 unit play on the under 7.5. Found that at minus $1.14 at Novig. Pirates are 17-12-3 to the under as a road dog. And I do think Paul Skeens actually does match up a little bit better against this overall San Diego lineup than maybe some of the others that he faced. Now, if he can limit the walks, last 3 of 4 starts, Dave, he's had at least 4 walks in those outings, still generating a decent amount of swing and miss, but not a lot of length. And obviously when you're issuing those free passes, that pitch count is running up quite quickly. I do think he has a little bit of a ballpark upgrade tonight that will help him be in attack mode for most of this outing. But I also love getting Michael King at home here, where the last 3 times out overall, a 2.89 ERA, and he has been one that is befuddled. Lineups like the Pirates will run out there tonight. So under 7.5, minus $1.14, 2.5 unit play, one of the bigger plays for me early for this slate tonight.
All right, don't look now. Okay, you can look. Cleveland right now occupies the final wild card spot after winning 5 in a row here. Jensen, do they keep the good foot and the hot streak going today?
Yeah, I think they do. Gavin Williams, you get your ace on the mound here, and it is a battle of aces tonight. Walbert Arena, who has been kind of a prodigy here and a revelation for the Halos, will go tonight. Could be a lower scoring affair, but I think you just ride the highs here of where the Guardians have been. Now winners of 5 in a row. You mentioned it, closing that distance in the American League Central, but occupying the final wild card spot in the American League. As for Gavin Williams, 2 earned runs in his last 5 of 6 starts overall. And LA has slipped a bit, Dave, now 1-3 straight up in their last 4 home games. I do think offense is at a premium tonight, but I think Cleveland does enough. Again, a lower scoring affair last night. They end up winning 4-2. Could definitely see a similar way that this game plays out with the way that Gavin Williams has thrown the ball and how dominant Urania has been in spurts. Love this one tonight. Little old school pitching affair, but I'll take the Guardians for unit and a half, minus $1.37 in Anaheim to get past the Angels tonight.
And I do believe the Reds, by getting in on game 162 of a year ago, 83 wins was good enough to get that last wild card in the National League last year. The Guardians right now are 500, Jensen. I mean, are we really going to get a potentially 81-81 team into the postseason in the American League?
Yeah, we are potentially. Dave, if you look at FanGraphs and look at some of the projected standings of where the rest of the full season numbers play out here, if you're looking at just the White Sox projected at 82-80, that's your division winner. Guardians right now at 81-81, Rangers 81-81, Mariners 79-83, Blue Jays 79-83. Like you're looking at teams not named the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox. You could have a division winner barely by the slimmest of margins over 500. And that's what you're looking at in the American League Central. You could have right now looking at the Texas Rangers 81-81, a division winner at 500. The Astros projected 81-81. Buddy, this is coming down. I told you the Central's coming down to the final weekend. We may have 2 of the 3 wild card spots potentially coming down to the final weekend. And I know that Boston has a healthy advantage as that wild card number 2 right now. They're 6.5 up on the Guardians there for that number 5 overall seed. Yankees are 2.5 ahead of them as far as the top overall wild card spot. So nothing in danger right now for those 2 teams as far as qualifying for the postseason. But again, I say this every day to you, and it bears repeating. You have, including the Detroit Tigers, we are upwards of 7 teams within 4.5 games of a playoff spot in the American League. It's just wild theater that plays out day in and day out.
And that's crazy because if you've been watching here on FanDuel Sports Network, YouTube TV, Tigers aren't even on the graphic. That's how far they've fallen off here as they're losing skid. So it's just crazy to think what's happening day in, day out, week in, week out. To that end, the Rangers-White Sox series continuing, that feels very important here. As you mentioned, the White Sox now, not only you're trying to hold off the Guardians here for the divisional lead, but that wild card picture could come into play if you fall out of that spot here. What do you like on today's docket here on the south side of Chicago?
Yeah, good pitching matchup here. Jacob deGrom gets the ball here for Texas. Anthony Kay, who has been kind of up and down as of late for the White Sox, gets the ball for the Southsiders. I'm going to play an under 8, Dave, at minus $1.24. Better price at Circa at minus $1.20. Rangers are 17-14-4 to the under as a road favorite, which they will be tonight, but more the ability for deGrom to dominate the White Sox. Rangers pasted Chicago yesterday. Anxious to see how this one plays out. Chicago needs a win in the worst way to kind of get some momentum back with how hard charging the Guardians are now, just a couple of games back for the top spot in the American League Central.